Doctor, I love you. Please don't let me go.
The night nurse Amara brought the letter to Dr. Chika's office. Her hands were trembling like someone who had seen a ghost. What she didn't know was that the words written on that paper would force the young doctor to choose between his medical oath and the dying confession of a 19-year-old girl who had fallen hopelessly in love with him. Dr. Chiku Okonkwo was only 28 years old, but the way he carried himself in the teaching hospital, you would think he had been practicing medicine for decades. His white coat was always crisp, his stethoscope polished, and his diagnosis sharp like a freshly sharpened cutlass. The other doctors respected him. The nurses whispered about him in the break room, not just about his medical skills, but about those deep brown eyes, that gentle smile, the way his voice could calm even the most anxious patient. And the patients? They called him the doctor who listens. But tonight, as Nurse Amara placed that envelope on his desk, something in her eyes made his stomach turn cold. "Doctor, it's the girl in Ward C. Chioma. She wrote this before." Amara's voice broke. "Before she slipped into a coma this evening. She said I shouldn't give it to you until she closed her eyes. Chioma Nwachukwu, 19 years old. Leukemia. Stage 4. Dr. Chike had been her doctor for 8 months, watching this brilliant, beautiful girl shrink from a vibrant university student into a shadow fighting for every breath. But what he didn't know was that somewhere between the chemotherapy sessions and the late-night conversations about her fears, Chioma had fallen in love with him. Dr. Chike opened the letter with shaking fingers. Chioma's handwriting was weak, the letters dancing across the page like they were fighting to stay alive, just like her. "Dear Dr. Chiko, if you are reading this, it means I finally gathered the courage to let my heart speak, or I am no longer conscious. Either way, I can no longer carry this secret into whatever comes next. I am in love with you. I know I shouldn't be. I know you are my doctor. But my heart doesn't understand medical ethics. My heart only knows that in the darkest moments of my life, when death was breathing down my neck and I wanted to give up, it was your face that made me want to see another sunrise. Every time you walked into my room, my dying heart would beat faster, something even the best medication couldn't do. My last wish is simply this. I want to know what it feels like to be held by the man I love. Just once. I want to fall asleep in your arms instead of in this cold hospital bed surrounded by machines. Forever yours, Chioma." The letter slipped from Dr. Chike's hands. He sat frozen, his mind racing through every interaction with Chioma, seeing them all now through a different lens. The way her eyes would light up when he entered. The way she laughed a little harder at his jokes. How had he missed it? Dr. Chike stood up so fast his chair fell backward. He rushed out of his office, his heart pounding with the terrifying realization that he had failed to see the most important thing about his patient, her heart. Subscribe now because what happens next will change everything. Ward C was dimly lit, the machines humming their steady rhythm. Chioma lay there, her chest rising and falling with the ventilator's assistance. Her parents had gone home to rest. Dr. Chike approached her bed slowly, like a man walking to his own judgment. "Chioma," he whispered, pulling a chair close. "I got your letter." No response. Just the steady beep of the heart monitor and the rhythmic whoosh of the ventilator. Dr. Chike took her hand, but this time, he held it differently. This time, he held it the way you hold someone you care about. "I'm sorry," he said, his voice cracking. "I was so focused on trying to save your body that I forgot to pay attention to your heart." He sat there for hours, holding her hand, telling her things he should have told her months ago. He told her that yes, he had noticed the way she looked at him. He told her that sometimes it was the thought of her smile that kept him going. He told her that she had become more than just a patient to him, though he had fought hard against that truth. "But Chioma," he said, tears flowing freely, "you asked for something I don't know if I can give you. Because what if you wake up? How do I go back to being your doctor after I've been more?" The machines continued their steady rhythm. Chioma remained still. Dr. Chike made a decision that would either save him or destroy him. He called Nurse Amara. "Amara, I need you to do something for me. I need you to take Chioma off the ventilator. Just for 10 minutes. I need to fulfill her last wish." There was a long silence. Then, "I'm coming now." 20 minutes later, with Nurse Amara standing guard outside, Dr. Chaik carefully disconnected the ventilator. Chioma's breathing continued on its own, shallow but steady. He climbed onto the hospital bed beside her and carefully positioned her so her head rested on his chest, her fragile body cradled in his arms. "I'm here, Chioma," he whispered. "I'm holding you. You're not alone. You're safe. You're loved." And then, something miraculous happened. Chioma's eyes fluttered open. She looked up at him, confused at first, then understanding. And when understanding came, the smile that spread across her face was the most beautiful thing Dr. Chaik had ever seen. "You came," she whispered. "You're holding me. I got your letter. Every word. And yes, I'm holding you. Just like you asked. Am I dreaming?" A single tear rolled down her cheek. "No, Chioma. You're not dreaming. This is real. I'm real. And I want you to know something. I see you, Chioma. Not as my patient. I see you. The girl who makes terrible jokes when she's nervous. The girl who pretends to be brave, but squeezes my hand so tight during blood draws. I see you. And you are remarkable. Do you love me?" she asked, with the fearless vulnerability that only the dying possess. Dr. Chaik closed his eyes. This was the moment. The moment where he either told the truth or committed the kindest lie of his life. "I can't love you the way you deserve, because the way you deserve to be loved requires time, requires tomorrow, requires years of growing together. But I can tell you this. In another life, in another universe where you weren't sick and I wasn't your doctor, I would have fallen for you so fast and so hard that it would have scared me." Chioma smiled through her tears. "That's enough. That's more than enough. How do you feel? Are you in pain?" "No. For the first time in months, I feel no pain. Just peace. Just this." They stayed like that, suspended in a moment that existed outside of time, outside of rules, outside of everything except the simple truth that sometimes love arrives at the worst possible moment and still manages to be beautiful. "Chaik, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for this. I can go now knowing what this feels like." "Don't talk like that. You're not going anywhere." "We both know that's not true." Her hand weakly reached up to touch his face. "But it's okay. I'm not afraid anymore. How can I be afraid when I got what I wanted most?" Her breathing was getting shallower. Dr. Chaik knew the signs. "Chaik, in my next life, will you find me? Will you love me the way I loved you in this one?" He held her tighter, his tears falling into her hair. "I promise. In your next life, I will find you. And I will love you properly. With all the time in the world. With no sickness, no machines, no boundaries. Just us. I promise." She smiled. "Then I'm the luckiest girl in the world because I get to love you twice. Drop a like right now because you need to see how this ends." Chioma's breathing slowed. Her eyes began to close, that peaceful smile still on her lips. And Dr. Chaik finally broke down completely. "Please don't go. Chioma, please. I just found you. Please don't leave me now." But some prayers are not meant to be answered. Some loves are only meant to exist for a moment, burning bright and brief like shooting stars. Chioma Nwachukwu took her last breath in the arms of the man she loved, with a smile on her face and peace in her heart. In the quiet of Ward C, there was only silence, the kind of profound silence that comes when a soul leaves the world satisfied. Dr. Chaik held her for several more minutes, unable to let go. Finally, Nurse Amara entered quietly and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Doctor, you gave her what she needed more than all the medicine in this world. Love. Peace. Her last wish." Dr. Chaik carefully laid Chioma back on the bed. He arranged her hair, fixed her hospital gown, made sure she looked peaceful. Then he reconnected the machines and called the time of death. When Chioma's parents arrived, Mrs. Nwachukwu collapsed when she heard the news. "Did she suffer?" she asked through her tears. Dr. Chaik looked at this grieving mother and made a choice. No, she didn't suffer. In her last moments, she was at peace. She was happy. It wasn't exactly a lie. Chioma had been all those things. 3 days later, at Chioma's funeral, her younger sister Adiz approached Dr. Chaik. "My sister wrote something. She told me to give it to you after the burial." Inside the envelope was a single piece of paper. "Thank you for loving me, even if you couldn't say it. Thank you for giving me my wish. Thank you for making my last moment the best moment of my life. In another life, we will get our forever. Until then, I'll be watching over you. Your Chioma." Dr. Chaik pressed the letter to his chest and finally allowed himself to grieve, not as a doctor who had lost a patient, but as a man who had experienced something profound and irreplaceable. 6 months later, Dr. Chaik still carried Chioma's letter in his white coat pocket. It had become his reminder that medicine is not just about treating diseases, it's about honoring the human experience. Sometimes, the most powerful healing comes not from medications, but from human connection, from being seen, from being loved, even if just for a moment. And late at night, he would whisper into the darkness, "I'll find you. Wherever you are, I'll find you. Just like I promised." Because that's the thing about love, it doesn't follow the rules we set for it. It doesn't care about professional boundaries or medical ethics or appropriate timing. It arrives when it wants, stays as long as it can, and leaves footprints on our hearts that never fully fade. And sometimes, just sometimes, that's exactly as it should be.